Hello, hello. Good morning, yogis, and welcome to the Friday Empower Yin practice. So, for today's class, you may want to have a blanket, a block, and a strap handy. We may use the props, we may not. It really depends on what feels right in your body. But you may want to have a strap. And if you're at home practicing from home, you can always use a belt or anything, even a towel would work. For the block, you could use a shoebox, you could use anything that just lifts the floor toward the body. And then your blanket, any kind of blanket will do. So we're going to start today's practice in a child's pose. So bringing your big toes to touch, knees come out as wide as feels comfortable in your body today. And then start to walk your fingers forward, letting your forehead rest down on your mat. Sinking your hips back, walking your fingers forward, finding a pose that you feel sensation. Not coming to the deepest expression, but coming to a space where you feel sensation in your body. And once you feel into that sensation, allow yourself to be still and connect to your rhythm of breath. So in each yin pose, we have 4 different components. We have the posture itself. We have stillness. We have time. And we have our release. So as we come into this first pose, I invite you to spread your fingers wide onto the floor and close down your eyes and start to become aware of your rhythm of breath. Start to tap into those inhales and exhales through the nose. Feeling that natural rise and fall, that natural taking in and letting go. With each exhale, maybe you can allow your chest to sink a little bit more into the floor. Allowing yourself to really settle in for today's practice. I encourage you to choose a focal point for your mind. This month, we are focused on compassion, courage, and strength. So if there is one of those 3 ideas that speak to you between compassion, courage, and strength, allow that to be your focal point for today's practice. Maybe you want to look at the relationship between the 3. How is compassion connected to courage? How is courage connected to strength? How is strength connected to compassion? Allowing your mind to be steady and sturdy, focusing on one focal point. Now, even though we have 3 different concepts that we're looking at, we can focus on one point being those 3 concepts. It's more about intentionally focusing the mind than it is having a singular focus. So that singular focus can always be something that is complex, but we're just practicing that focused mind. Let's take a few deep belly breaths here. Inhale, send the breath into the belly. Fill the lungs, fully expand. Maybe walk your fingertips a little bit more forward, creating more space for your breath. And open mouth, exhale, breathe it out. Let's do 2 more, just like that. Big breath in, feel the body expand. Full breath out, feel it sink and release. And again, big breath in. And exhale. Look forward, press yourself forward. Bring your knees underneath your hips, and let's just take a moment to shift our hips back and forward and back and forward. So this is that release. This is that fourth piece, releasing the posture. We're going to come all the way down onto our stomach, coming into Sphinx pose, bringing your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Gaze is straight forward. I encourage you to close down your eyes. Forearms are parallel to one another, fingers are spread wide, and maybe you zip your legs up close together so that your legs are coming straight out from your hips. Let's take a moment here and gaze over to the right. Come through center, gaze over to the left. Come through center, press the mat away, lifting through the chest, shining the chest forward. Return to that natural rhythm of breath. From here, we're going to bend into our right knee and bring that knee out to the side and let yourself settle in. So we're creating this asymmetrical shape within the hips. And let's breathe into our belly, noticing how the breath is connected to the asymmetrical shape of the hips. Maybe closing down the eyes and focusing the mind on that focal point, whatever you chose. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Send that right leg back out behind you. Take a moment, shift your hips from side to side. And we'll switch to the other side, bending into the left knee, creating those 90-degree angles with the body. I invite you to close down your eyes and focus on your breath. What does it mean for you to live a compassionate life, to live with compassion as a part of the foundation of your life? Taking a moment for that internal reflection. Let's take 5 more deep breaths here. Send your left leg back out behind you. Take a moment, shift your hips from side to side. Walk your upper body up, coming into a tabletop position. Stacking knees underneath hips, shoulders over wrists. You can spread your fingers wide and inhale, arch the spine, lift the gaze, shine the chest forward for your cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, head hangs heavy, tuck the chin to the chest, press through the palms, suck the belly button to the spine. Inhale, back into your cow, arch the spine, lift the gaze. Exhale, cat, round the spine, head hangs heavy. Take 4 more on your own breath, linking your breath to your movement. Noticing what you feel through the spine as you shift from cat to cow, from cow to cat. Come back to your neutral tabletop position. Shift your hips from side to side. And from here, bring your knee in toward your chest and bring it underneath your right knee in toward the chest, bring it underneath, and then open up through your feet and sink your hips back to your heels, coming into cow face. So I'll change so that I'm facing you. So ideally here, your knees stack on top of one another, but just find what feels accessible in your body. Your bottom leg can be extended if this isn't accessible. And maybe your knees are more open, your legs are more open. That's okay too. Trust in your body, trust in your pose. Trust that what you find here is perfect for you. It doesn't have to look the way that my body looks. Let it look how your body looks. Let it feel how your body feels. And see if you can come to a place of acceptance of that. Let's inhale, sweep our arms up overhead. And exhale, swing the right hand underneath the left, coming into our cow face pose, or our eagle arms. I'm sorry. If eagle arms aren't accessible in your body, you can always come into a bear hug. That works too. And from here, let's shift our body over to the right and take 3 deep breaths. Shift your upper body only. So just bringing your elbows over to the right. Come back through center, take an inhale. Exhale, bring your elbows over to the left. Bring your elbows back through center. Inhale, lift your elbows up to the ceiling, and exhale, tuck your elbows down towards your belly button. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, tuck the elbows in. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, tuck the elbows in. Come back through center, unravel the hands, arms come up, and let's just plant our hands slightly behind us as we open up through our chest, breathing into the heart space, pulling the shoulder blades together. And let's be here, breathe here. See if you can breathe softness into this pose. Maybe you close down your eyes and see if you can allow your knees to fall slightly more toward the floor. Take a few more deep breaths in. Let yourself shift back slightly. Notice the right leg on top. Extend the legs out and bring the opposite leg underneath. Shift yourself back up through neutral. Let's inhale our arms up and exhale, swing the left hand underneath the right for eagle arms. If that doesn't work for you, know that you can bear hug. And then we're going to shift our elbows over to the left for 3 breaths. And then shift over to the right for 3 breaths. Come back through center. Let's inhale, lift our elbows up toward the ceiling. Take a couple breaths. And then exhale, tuck the elbows toward the belly button. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck. Come back through center. Unravel the hands. Inhale up. Plant them behind you. And let's open up through the chest. You can tilt your chin and really breathe into the lungs. I invite you to close down your eyes. Inhales and exhales through the nose. Press yourself through center. Actually, keep yourself pressed back. Open up your legs wide and let's come forward into a wide leg forward fold. You can let your hands come down, maybe coming down onto your forearms, maybe staying lifted, but we're hinging forward with the legs open in our wide leg forward fold. Again, not coming into the deepest expression first, right off the bat, finding sensation and allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to breathe. Really bring that awareness internally, focusing on that focal point. Focusing on the breath. Maybe over time, your body invites you to come a little bit deeper into the pose. Feel free to take that invitation. Walk your hands back towards your body, coming back through neutral. Let's bring our legs out in front of us. Take a moment, pedal out the legs. Here's our release. And if you have your block, grab your block. If you have a blanket, you can roll up your blanket. We're going to come into a supported bridge before we come into our final resting pose of Shavasana. So come down onto your back and lift your hips up. Feet are hip width distance apart, finding the block or the folded up blanket underneath your low back for our bridge pose. You can cactus out your arms to help open up through your chest as you shimmy your shoulder blades toward one another. Let's extend our right leg out long and keep our left leg bent. Breathing into the front line of the body. Finding that inner stillness. Bending into the right knee, planting the right foot on the floor, extending the left leg out long. Breathing into the front line of the body. Bend into the left knee. Let's press our hips up as we remove the block from beneath. Slowly roll down. Maybe you want to unroll that blanket. Pull your knees into your chest and let's gently rock side to side. Let's pull our forehead toward our knees, coming into a tiny ball. Take a deep breath here. And with your exhale, open up into that final resting pose. If there's any organic movement that your body needs as we come into this final posture, feel free to take it. It might feel good to bend into the knees and windshield wiper out the knees. Find your final resting pose. What feels right for your body? And as you settle into that final resting pose, allow yourself to take a few deep cleansing breaths. As you settle into your natural rhythm of breath, breathing this stillness, let's take 5 more intentional, mindful breaths here. Slowly, gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your knees, gently rock side to side. Grab the backs of your knees and rock yourself up into an easy seat, cross-legged. Ground down into your sitting bones. Press your palms through heart center, tuck your chin to your chest. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for showing up on your mat. Acknowledge any awareness that came to the surface of your mind from a physical, mental, or emotional standpoint throughout today's practice. Being grateful to your body, to your mind, to your emotions, to your awareness. Being grateful for your practice and being grateful for the day ahead that there is to unfold. Trusting in your journey, walking forward with kindness, compassion, courage, and strength. Know that you are loved and supported. Let's take a deep breath in. Full breath out. Thank you so much for being here today, for sharing in this space, for sharing in this practice. The light, the love, the wisdom in me sees, honors, reflects, and encourages. The light, the love, the wisdom in you. Namaste. I hope to see you again on your mats very, very soon. And until then, may your light be your guide. I'll see you again soon.